Hi everyone, I am Mela Bettega and I'm presenting It's Like a GPS Community Tool, Tactics to Foster Digital Commons through Artifact Ecology, a paper I have written with Raul Masu and Maurizio Teli. So, digital commons foster democratic processes and values beyond mere economic gain. Cooperative managed by workers, open source software respectful of people's privacy, platforms allowing exchanges among peers. These are all examples of digital commons. Despite digital commons provide a lot of benefit, most of them are way less known than alternatives produced through capitalistic dynamics. There are two main strategies to support digital commons spread. The first is deeply engaging with a group of people to co-design a new digital tool fitting their specific need. This strategy usually is deeply focused on one single tool. The other strategy is advocating for digital commons. For example, presenting tools that already exist. In this case, there is not a strong engagement with the group, and the presented tools are predefined. Our project presents some novelties in respect to both these strategies. On one side, we rely exclusively on digital commons that already exist. But instead of promoting a predefined set, we engage with a group of participants to select the digital commons that they were most likely to appreciate. To this end, we relied on the concept of artifact ecology. Our use of artifact ecology is a novelty as well. In fact, we use artifact ecologies as an action research tool, and we use them also to understand participant interest and values. We structured a process that can be divided in three separate phases. In the first phase, we gather information on the artifacts that participants currently use and on their interests and values. In the second phase, we use this information to select digital tools that can be useful to them. And in the third phase, we present these digital commons to the group. The whole process is carried on in collaboration with Equilibrio. Equilibrio is a very inclusive group and all the activities are open to the public. So we had to consider the possibility to have a very heterogeneous audience. So let's get some more detail on the process. Phase 1 aims at engaging participants in building their artifact ecologies. It is composed by two separate activities, Artifact Chat and Puzzle Workshop. Artifact Chat is a group chat we use to send prompts to participants. In the paper, we give much more detail on this activity and we explain why we organize it instead of interviewing people. In Artifact Chat, we ask simple questions such as what object did you enjoy most using today? Or what artifacts are you using when this message arrived? And participants replied with text or pictures. Then we transformed their answer into tangible tiles that we categorize into four categories: software, hardware, non-connected artifacts, and interest and values. For each category, we also created blank tiles to allow further personalization. We used this tile to build Puzzle Workshop, a face-to-face activity divided in three steps. First, we asked people to complete their personal ecologies, connecting artifacts to interests and values and specially hierarchizing the tiles. Then we ask them to select the interests and values most important to them. These tiles were shared with the whole group and clustered. Finally, we ask them to create collective artifact ecologies around these clusters. In the second phase of the process, we analyzed the collective artifact ecologies. We focused in particular on the shared interests and values. Then we matched the result with a list of digital commons that we have prepared beforehand. We prepared this list taking into consideration that common in practice can be embedded in the artifact itself, such as in open source software, or they can be enabled by the artifact, for example, by a platform like Couchsurfing. Through this matching process, we selected 7 digital commons to present in phase 3. This process is much more detailed and you can find further information in the paper, of course. So, in the third phase, we went back to participants proposing digital common workshop that can be divided in 3 separate activities. First, we briefly presented our analysis and decisional process. Then we presented the 7 digital commons and discussed about them with the participants. Second, we invited participants to install the tools we proposed, offering technical support in case of need. Third, we created a Telegram group to keep the conversation open and to provide additional support. The result of the process were rather positive. Most of the 10 participants installed most of the tools. Moreover, they contacted us after the workshop to ask for other tools, both for individual use and for implement Equilibrio collective projects. After the process, we performed an evaluation interview with Equilibrio founders, which is discussed in detail again in the paper. Based on our observation and their feedback, we developed 5 tactics to support the adoption of off-the-shelf digital commons. The first tactics is to foster participant self-reflection. P2 in particular stressed the importance of working on the artifact ecologies of the group, as these artifact ecologies worked as a GPS for that community. The second tactic is to propose tools participants are likely to appreciate. The third is to target participants as a group so that people can motivate each other and use this new tool to collaborate, so they will have a further motivation to do that. For strategy, problematize the mainstream dupes, but immediately propose a solution. P1 in particular appreciated that we asked to take action right away, rather than letting people taking notes and then eventually forget them. Fifth strategies, tailor the activities on participant skills. For example, in our case, keeping the hands-on activity really basic allowed us to engage also participants that were not that tech savvy. Finally, thank you for your attention, and I hope to meet at the conference. Ciao, ciao!